practice. It seems like 15. We've had some good walkthroughs as well that you don't necessarily call as a practice, but we just got another good one today. We've had a great week. Really, talked last week about just getting our minds right, and I feel like 99% of guys, maybe 98% of guys are, from what you see on the field, are locked in and ready to go. Actually, I'm looking out my window here. I don't know if I can flip this. Am I allowed to flip this thing around? Can you flip this thing around? I don't even know. Yeah. Wait a second, EJ. I mean, here's what you love. We got the sprinkler system going on. You guys haven't seen this yet. I mean, you guys, sorry you missed, but you see there's still guys going out and getting some work in. There's still a guy out there hitting a sled. What a beautiful day. This is why I love Pittsburgh right here. Check this out. But anyway, you still got guys out there working. But we've had some good again, it's a positive, I guess, when you guys want me to walk around my office too, give me a little tour. But it's a positive when your guys are still out there working. And again, we got off the field 45 minutes ago, guys. So it's a great deal. So I guess I'll leave it up to you guys. Get some questions. Sure you don't want to hear me talk. Hey, Will, take the mask off.
I can't. I am in the fine pit ticket office at Heinz Field watching Steelers practice, and we have to wear them inside. So.
Oh, you're double dipping. Little Steelers, little Panthers. I like it. All right, what do we got?
Jerry, why don't you go ahead and get us started?
Okay, how you doing, Pat? How are you?
I'd be doing better if I was sitting on my back patio.
Well, I am, so it's nice, believe me. I'm going to do something different today and ask a football question to get started here.
Yeah,
I thought you'd like that. Your offensive line and your running back positions have some experience, and some guys going to gain experience this year. How are they shaping up, and who are the guys that are sticking out right now?
I love that question. I love starting off with the football question. It's a great question. I'll start with just the O-line. We're so much deeper right now on the O-line. At times you get guys banged up. Gabe Hoy's coming off of a postseason surgery, so we've been very careful with him. Not throwing him right out there in the first live period. Let's hope that shoulder's good. Just slowly, integrating those guys into pads. I mean, I think it's so important how you do that, not just throwing out there and hoping he's good. Just weaning him into it. So it's given other guys an opportunity to really step up. So I mean, you look at Matthew Gonsalves, kid from New York, from out in Long Island, New York, has really done a nice job. Again, he's playing a little tackle, a little guard, so he's combining. Owen Drexel is really, really stepped up. And I'm not talking just with the twos, with the ones. We've given him opportunities in there. We've taken Jimmy out. We know Jimmy can play. So we've really developed some of our depth there. Keldrick Wilson continues to progress. Obviously, it's a different deal. Some of those ends rushing off the edge. So he's, I think he had his best day yesterday, put it that way. So, I mean, he's progressing. I know I'm going to forget somebody here. I don't have a depth chart near me, but if you guys ask me a name, I'll tell you. I'll give you the thumbs up or but I'm trying to think. Keldrick, Gabe. The other guy is Blake Sabovic, who has been playing a little bit of right tackle and right guard as well, and he's really getting better. I mean, just the reps that he's getting out there. We've gotten a lot of reps. So those are guys, right off without having a two deep sitting in front of me that stick out. And and then there's the normal guys. I mean, Carter Warren's doing great. And, obviously Jimmy Morrissey, those, you're talking younger guys. And then in the backfield, AJ's been doing well. He got dinged up a day ago. So he was out today. He'll be fine for game day. But I'm trying to think here. Obviously Izzy, you guys saw him, in the spring. He's progressing. I'm interested to see what happens tomorrow in the scrimmage with him. Todd Sibley's had a great spring. I mean, he's our best pass protector. I mean, by far, he does an outstanding job there. And Daniel Carter's really, Daniel Carter's gotten some meaningful reps and with the ones and just big back. We did a short yardage period and a goal line period yesterday. In fact, short goal line yesterday, goal line live period, and then short yardage the day before. So he's done a nice job. The other guy, as you talk about the backfield, I'm going to give him a shout out here because he's really been impressive. And I haven't done this the last couple of years, but when he started to show some things, I kind of said, like usually I always had, as an old defense coordinator, I always had the dark horse. Who's the dark horse? As we sat in the defense staff, we'd say, hey, who's the dark horse? Who's the guy that's going to surprise you? And Jake Salinsis has done an outstanding job playing a little, tight end, little F move guy, the whole deal. Jake has done he's made some major improvements. He's stayed healthy. I knock on some wood here, this wood table. But I've been impressed with Jake as well. You're going to see him play football. You're going to see him play this year. Put it that way. He's still walking. Done a nice job.
He's still a walk-on, right, Jake?
He's still a walk-on right now. So he's still walking. Like I said, he's done a great job. He's stuck with it. He's already got job offers. He could have left already and been, already had a job. So I mean, he loves the game of football. He's a football guy. Obviously, Dad's a football coach, or at least was, but a long-time great coach.
You kind of had Daniel Carter, it seemed like, working as a fullback of sorts last year. Would you consider that still his role, or would you see him more as like a tailback?
He's doing both. I mean, we call it defensively 20 personnel. Means, you got 2 backs and 0 tight ends, okay? 21 personnel is 2 backs and 1 tight end. 11 personnel is 1 tight end and 1 back. So, 20 personnel, it's for the opponent to figure out what it is. What is he? He's a big back. He could be a fullback because he's tough enough, but he's playing tailback. He's playing fullback. He's doing everything, So are people going to call it 20 personnel, or are they going to call it, it's just what you call him. But he's a hybrid. He can do it all. Might move him over to linebacker, too. Could probably do that, too. No, he ain't tough enough. Make sure that quote gets out to him, Jerry. He'll be coming to my office tomorrow. No, he's tough. He's tough.
At the eligibility rule that looks like it's going to get approved today, with basically this fall and spring being a wash, not counting towards eligibility for your guys. I mean, is that something you're in favor of, that you and Heather like?
No question about it. I think anything that's in favor of those kids like that. When you talk about education and opportunities to play another year, I think it's a no-brainer. I think you guys probably saw, if you're on Twitter, I tweeted out Nicole. I don't know, it was a week ago. And when I first heard about it, I was like, that's a heck of an idea. I mean, right now, as we talked last time, there's so many questions in these kids, heads right now. Should I practice? We might not have a season. You see what's happening in Notre Dame and South, North Carolina, and people can't stay out of the parties. I was driving around campus last night looking for a party. I couldn't find one in Oakland. So, Jerry, I'm kidding. Okay, Jerry. But hopefully our student athletes, hopefully our students at the University of Pittsburgh are behaving and doing things right. But, I think it's a great rule. I think it just gives them comfort, and they're not going, oh my God, what if I play 2 games? Is that my season? I think when this whole thing landed, last week with the Big Ten canceling, and I just think it gave a lot of kids questions on, what am I doing? What's that mean for me? Because everybody wants to know what it means for them. And I think it's a great rule. I really do.
Are there long-term concerns with that, though, in terms of roster size and getting inflated numbers? And I guess, do you just weigh that the short term is more important than that?
The kids are more important than worried about, we'll worry about that. And, I like it because we got more scholarship players. It's even better, right? I mean, they're going to have to. We've got commitments, and we're going to continue to, get commitments. I don't think we'll look at that. But again, it's not about, this is a different year. It ain't normal. So, we'll deal with that. That's just a financial thing, and again, I don't think anybody's really, going to go, oh, financially we can't do that, so the heck with the kids. No, that's the wrong decision. You bite the bullet, raise some more money, do whatever you got to do, especially with the year that you wonder if there's going to be any fans in the stands, how much, you don't know if you just don't know. It doesn't matter. Money doesn't matter when it comes to student athletes. It's all about the student athlete. And to me, this is a great rule that hopefully gets passed today. I mean, I heard 99.9. You made it sound like it's a done deal, so I'm glad you said that. But it's a great rule that is for the kids.
Pat, you mentioned the other day, I wish I could throw a bunch of mattresses in the facility and just have the kids stay there. Have you guys talked about going to a bubble concept to protect these kids? I know you said earlier, a couple weeks ago, hey, we can't control whether they go to class or not. I'm not going to whatever works for the kid. Have you guys talked about going to that?
No, I mean, if you recall, I don't know, maybe it was back when camp started. I'm losing track of days here. But we were going to put them in a little bubble in a hotel. we're going to put him in a hotel like we normally do, for the last 3 or 4 years, whatever it's been. And I decided against that. Okay. All we do is get a false sense of security. And then all of a sudden, as soon as we break them out of the hotel, what's happening that night? They're breaking out. Okay. They're going over to Will Graves' house for a big party, camps, breaking, we're going. So it's just like, what are we trying to do here? We got to treat them like adults. We got to train them. We got to teach them. We got to show them how it's done. And I have no regrets doing it the way we did. And again, really UPMC, kind of recommends that. It's like, you don't want to just, we can't protect them forever. And we can try to, do it. It's kind of the problem with the students. They went home. They've been home since March. They finally got back to campus and they're like this, looking around like, where can I go next? Let's go. What's happening at 1 o'clock? What's happening at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning? But I'm they're just happy to be back and happy to see people. So we've got to do it the right way. And if we can't do it like this, it's going to be hard to have a season. So our kids have done an incredible job so far. And I just, like I said, incredible. I didn't say good. I said incredible. They've done an incredible job. They've done it maturely. And, I'm proud of them.
Hey, Pat, you have, by my count, at least one scholarship open. Would you consider the idea of taking a transfer from a player whose team is not playing? And do you expect, you're obviously not the only team with scholarships open. Do you expect that to happen across the country here between now and the start of the season?
Yeah. If we got a scholarship left and it's the right player at the right position, there's no question about it. We always got our ears open. We're not, closing, but I haven't heard that there's a lot of kids going in the portal, which is good. I'm glad they got faith in where they are. And again, I think this rule today makes it even a little bit easier for those kids to say, I'm not going in the portal. But if a kid goes in that we know about, we're open ears, open eyes.
Have you gotten word if Jalen will still count against your scholarships for this year? Would he be part of your 85?
He would not be part of our 85. He's left to go home. If he had stayed in school and wanted to be here and go to, and finish his degree, he would have counted in our 85. But since he's leaving, and, I shouldn't say leaving, since he left, he won't be in the 85 and, he's home. So if he was still in school, he would count against the 85.
I wanted to ask you about your linebackers. Obviously you have Cam and Phil back. They played a lot last year and Chase has played a lot, but what are you seeing out of those three? And then particularly the guys behind him, how's your depth developing there?
Yeah. Again, another position I'd like to talk about. First of all, Phil Campbell's like a beast. He's been a beast lately. Like he's been like, whoa. He made a play yesterday that just, he looks really good. Cam is like he was last year. Very, very good. Doing a great job. I think we got two of the nicest outside linebackers in the country, really. Two athletic guys. There's a great battle going in at the mic. Obviously, Chase Pine in there. Chase is doing a nice job. But to be honest with you, right now, Wendell Davis is playing like he looks like the real deal right now. This kid came back focused, locked in, and there's a battle going on there. Chase being a senior, you'd love to see him crank it up and be the starter, but like Wendell Davis is giving him a run every single day, and it's like, watch out. And then Brandon George is doing a nice job. The other outside linebacker that, would probably at this point be the first guy in at either position, maybe, would be Servassier Dennis. He had 2 plays yesterday on the goal line that it was like he just flashes. He might be our smartest linebacker. We'll start there because I think it starts with intelligence. He knows how to time stuff up. So he might be our smartest guy there. For I guess, was he maybe a sophomore? Who knows what he is? He's probably going to be a sophomore next year too. It's kind of nice. We had another year out of him. Cal Adamitis was so happy today. I kind of told him that rule was supposed to come out today. And, our quiet time this morning, not to get off topic, was love. And, we do a quiet time every morning, and today was love. So the kids were talking about love. And we got a 15-minute quiet time. And some people said, I love my mom, and I love this, I love that. And Cal Adamitis says, I love long snapping. Everybody kind of looked at him. So after practice, I said, Cal, you get to snap for 2 more years, I know you love it so much. But sorry to go off topic. So Servassier is playing really well. Brandon George we talked about. And, another position move that I'll give to you is John Patrician has moved to the outside linebacker spot and has really, really I think I found a nice little home there. To break in the back end with Paris Ford and DeMar Hamlin's not easy. Brandon Hill's playing really well. Another position move that we made is Judson Talander has moved to safety as well. He can play both. I mean, he's a swing guy, but you know what? He's really shown a lot of things at safety. And, you kind of don't know. It's like, like coaches sometimes are so dumb. And, maybe we should have moved him a damn year ago. And you just don't think he's a corner. And I didn't think he really could be a safety. And then all of a sudden you line him up there and you're like, I'm talking one day of practice, you're going to go, I think that's his spot. Like, that's where he belongs. For some reason, he sees things better on the hash and, just awareness. He's a better safety than he was corner right now. And I think, again, he can play both. But it was great to see him out there as well. So I know it moved into the safeties there. But anything else? Anything I didn't answer as far as the position?
Following up on Phil Campbell, you said he's looked like a beast so far. He talked about how he's loved the switch from star to money. Can you talk about how he's approached that? Have you seen him grow as a player in switching those roles and how you've seen that be a part of his growth?
Yeah, Chris, I mean, he likes moving from star to to in the box, I guess. He can play both, obviously. He's athletic enough to play both. But it was just a way of – he's more physical than Cam is, okay? That's no disrespect to Cam, but, Cam in another couple of years will be there. I don't know how many years he's got back. Does he have 4 years left, DJ? It's hard to count. Are they going to put a new thing on the depth chart? Like, hey, here it is. He's now got is it a Corona year? Is it a Rona? Maybe they'll call it a Rona year. He's taken the change well. But you know what? It's so similar. It's not like it's some foreign position. He moved from one side of the field to the other side of the field. So there's less skill receivers over there. He's gotten more opportunity to blitz. He loves to blitz. He's tough. He's playing with about as good a leverage as you can play with, with those big dudes that he's got to take on in the box with the lineman coming up. Carter won't come up to block him, but he plays with his pads down. So I've just been really, really, really impressed with what he's done so far. That's why I sent him to the media yesterday. He's been
with Judson moving to safety. We haven't really seen a lot of those guys that are behind Mathis and Pinnock at corner. What have you seen from those guys?
AJ Woods has really played well. And then, Marquez Williams is playing really. Both those guys are much, much improved. We didn't get to see 3 days of spring ball, 1 day in pads, so you might as well say it was 1 day. But Quez and AJ Woods are playing really at a high level right now. Got a lot of confidence putting those guys in. And like I said, they probably were, starting to move ahead of Judson. And that's why we said, hey, let's move him back and see what he looks like back there. And lo and behold, it's like we just found another player. It's like Christmas. It's like Christmas.
Hey, Pat. I want to try and hi. Hi.
A lot of people on it today. I didn't know you were on today. Central Florida must not have anything to do down there today.
Yeah. Don't know. It's a fun day here in Central Florida, but I got a special invite to join you guys today. So how could I turn that down?
That's right.
I want to just ask a more broad question about football. By this point, you guys usually have a good idea of what type of team you have heading into a season. But considering no spring, hardly any off season, and we still have 3 weeks to go, do you have a good idea for what kind of team you have?
I think we had a good idea before spring ball started. I mean, I don't think you have to play the game to know what you have when you got, Patrick Jones on one end, Rashad Weaver, both of those guys. We haven't really talked about those. Everybody knows who they are, but they're both, playing really good right now. But when you have those two guys, you have Keyshawn Camp and Devin Danielson. Obviously, we missed Jalen Twyman. We would have been nice to have him. But Kalijah Cansey and all those guys are playing well. Our offensive line we talked about already playing well. We've got more depth at our quarterback position right now with Davis Bevel and Joey Yellen, who became eligible. Nick Patty, of course, who played for us last year, and again, of course, Kenny Pickett. I mean, tailbacks, with Vince Davis and playing well, and Izzy and AJ. I mean. Jared Wayne at receiver. We got a good football team. I mean, we got to stay healthy. We got to keep them all together and keep them all on the same page as a team. And that's the hardest thing to do right now. But I feel like we have a good team. It's going to be the chemistry and how we stick together and play as a team and approach this 2020 crazy season. So I feel good with where we're at.
I feel like the chemistry is there, considering all the time they were away from each other.
That's the thing I don't know. I don't know that. I just, you weren't on the call last week, but I talked about like how hard it is for our kids to just get locked in and focused on. There's so many things going on. Reading Twitter, one day everything's good, the next day the Big Ten cancels, and they're looking at each other like, "Oh, we cancel next." And just these kids' minds, I feel bad for them. That's why I said this rule today gives them a little bit of security as far as, hey, regardless of what happens this year, it doesn't matter. I got next year. That's why these kids. They talk about the mental side of this for these kids that are different than what we were when we grew up. It's not easy. And the social media makes it even worse because they read stuff. They don't know what to believe. I'm like, guys, you can't believe everything that you read on these cell phones. It's just not everything's true. So I think they're, I think little by little, that they're coming together, but you just don't know. It's day by day, what they read next on Twitter, So I told them to look out for this new thing coming out today. That's why I told them this afternoon because it was going to come out today. So I'll be retweeting once that thing, it's probably 10 o'clock at night when the NCAA gets to it, whoever's doing it. For some reason, they make this 9 p.m. release when everybody's sleeping. At least I am.
On a Friday, too.
Yeah. So, Kelly, you had a question?
I did. I was, until you just said Jared Wayne, I was going to say you talked about the lines, you talked about defense, you talked about the backs, you even talked about the receivers. Maurice is on, and Lucas Kroll said yesterday that the tight ends are going to be used much differently. He said it very confidently.
Good.
So tell me about that.
As long as they catch it. As long as they catch it.
Kickoffs too. Can I have a hint? Who's going to do kickoffs?
You mean kickoff return? Or you're muted, Kelly. Do you mean like kickoff return guy? Hit that mute button.
I was trying. Yeah, with Mo gone, who's going to take that role?
So Maurice is gone. Obviously, right now Jordan Addison's playing really well. Okay, that guy. People need to watch out for him early. Again, Jordan Addison, freshman from Maryland, came in at the mid-year. We saw him do some nice things in the spring. He's come out. He's got soft hands. Really, he's starting in the slot right now as a true freshman. I think he's a special kid. You got Jared Wayne, you got Taysir Mack. Those guys are playing well. Obviously, you got Lucas and Danny Morego. Really had the last 2 days has been really good at tight end. Trying to think here, other receivers. Shockey. Shockey's been really good. Playing at a high level, staying healthy. Trying to think. Varzo's been had a solid week. Probably not as good as I'd like it to be. I think he'll have a great week next week. I'm trying to think here. Who else receiver wise? There's a bunch of them out there running around. I think I hit most of them, but we're happy with those. As far as returner goes, it could be Izzy, could be Jordan Addison. That's kind of maybe who's got the inside track right now. I would say those two guys. They got good speed and great ball skills. And, same thing at the punt returner. Could be even Vince Davis is a punt returner with Jordan Addison. Those would, be the guys there as well.
Pat, I know you mentioned Kalijah in there and talking about the team, and I think you said he was electric earlier this week. Does he have the inside track on that Jalen spot, or is that still like a full blown competition here with Devin and all those guys?
Yeah, I think there's still it's still wide open. He's just got a little different gear to him, but Devin Danielson's really got the hold on that right now. With Tyler Bentley, I don't know who it is. They're all pretty solid. David Green, for me to say this guy's a starter right now, I'd have a hard time. David Green, Danielson, I would say those three guys with Bentley have the inside track. But, like Kalijah Cansey's going to play a lot of football for us as well. You know how we rotate those guys, keep them fresh, and that's how they get sacks is when they're fresh and someone else is tired. You don't see too many people rotating guards and tackles on offense. So, I think, Cansey's got a little different knack, and we'll have to find and put him in, when things, seem to be in his advantage. So we're excited about that. So we got some depth in there.
Pat, are you designing the rest of your preseason schedule, practice schedule, as if you'll play on the 12th or the 19th? Is there going to be a non-conference game?
Yeah, we're still working on that, but right now, we're full steam ahead. I told our guys, today, even after practice, like, guys, plan on. It's amazing. We'll talk about those minds and the question, Andrea asked, like, a player come up to me midway through practice, like, yeah, well, that's if we play, coach. I was like, what do you mean if we play? Like, I wouldn't be out here today if we're not going to play. And that's they read stuff and they think if some guy in someone's basement tweets something out that they believe it. But I told the team after, I says, we're playing on the 12th. Expect to play on the 12th. We're preparing for that day. Be ready to go. If you have it in your mind, like, well, I'm not sure. I mean, that shouldn't be in their minds, but that's what we're dealing with. And that's what worries me. We have to stick together as a team, and we all got to believe there's going to be a season on 12th. I mean, I told them, I said, I have no question we're playing on the 12th. Like, we're playing. Don't think that we're not to. And then all of a sudden we get the game week, like, well, I didn't think we'd get here. I think you better get your minds right now ready to go, because we're playing on the 12th.
Are you close to identifying an opponent for the 12th?
I think we're getting closer. I mean, I think we're closer today than we were the day before, than we were the day before, than we were the day before. So how close are we? I have no idea, Jerry. It's amazing. There's a lot of things going on with the testing that they have to do. So we got to find the right team. We're not jeopardizing anything. Our kid safety is the most important. We're going to find someone we trust, that we know is going to do the right thing and get it done based on the ACC protocols.
Has the ACC talked about increasing the testing once the season starts, the way the SEC and Big 12 are going to do?
Yeah, I don't know I haven't really heard what the SEC and the Big 12, maybe you can tell me afterwards, but we've talked this all along, so I don't think we'd be following them. We're talking about, the PCR test twice a week and also the antigen test. So I don't know, are some people doing 3 times a week?
3 times, yeah.
Like 3 times PCR?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about it. Seems like it's 2 times a week. Whether it's Sunday or Monday, a Wednesday, and then a Friday antigen test. So that's what the ACC is talking about. But again, in some way, 3 days a week. It's hard to test if you're on the road on a Friday traveling too. If it's that PCR takes a while. So if you tested on Friday morning before you left, you jump on a plane. By the time you get there, you might have a plane full of guys. That wouldn't be good. Given it 24 hours. I mean, no one's going to find out. So that, I don't know how people are going to do it 3 times a week, but I haven't read it. I just kind of know what we've talked about. And again, I don't think that's been solidified yet. So don't say Narduzzi said it's guaranteed we're doing that. But I just heard rumors of that.
Is there, Pat, you just said you're telling your players we're definitely playing on the 12th. Are you 100% confident in that? Because, again, ultimately, the presidents and chancellors have the final say. And if they meet in a few weeks and decide, oh, man, we don't think it's safe anymore, they could pull the plug.
Yeah, they could. But we can't go on practicing every day wondering, but we might as well just shut it down until the president makes a decision. So we got to practice and play and have the attitude that we are playing. I truly believe we're going to play. Our kids are safe here on our campus, in this facility as you could be. And I have no doubts about that. I've told our guys have one girlfriend, Andrea, don't have 2 or 3. I think that's a dangerous thing. And again, our guys got to be smart when they're on campus. That's what I'm worried about, what's happening up there. That's what could shut things down. But I am really, really confident. I'm not just blowing smoke. I am very, very confident we will be playing on the 12th. And,
even if every single campus is closed to the student body. Let's say by that point, every campus is closed to the student body.
You know what? I'm just a football coach. I don't, I've heard campuses already shut down and said we're going to be virtual. I know 6 months ago they talked about, if the kids aren't on campus and they're not, in-person classes, that there's going to be no football season. But it seems like I don't hear about that anymore. But so I don't have an answer for those, those questions. I think, I'm just looking at it as, we're full steam ahead. We're preparing for a football season and for the 12th.
Coach, I know you have enough on your plate, but have you been paying attention to high school with the PIAA decision that's coming out today too? And I know down the road recruiting might be affected by all this too. So have you had your head in that game too?
Yeah, I have. I've got a couple of calls from high school coaches as well. It's crazy. I'm worried about my guys here and what we're doing, and I know the protocols we have here. I can't imagine what high schools are trying to deal with, trying to keep those kids safe and going to class and all the things they deal with. I saw that one school down in Georgia open up and the hallways were packed. I'm like, holy cow, there's some problems. So you look at stuff like that, but it definitely would impact our recruiting as far as not being able to see anybody play football. I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe they'll start video in front yard football. They'll play flag football in the front yard like we used to back in the day, and send us some video. So it'll definitely impact it. I just hope, whoever's making that decision, I don't know who's making it, that they just do it with safety for the players in mind. And if they feel like they can't, I know everybody would be crushed if there's not high school football. I know everybody would be crushed if there's not college football and NFL football. But whatever they do, I think people got to realize that it's for the safety of the players, period. And, and if we can't do it safely, then shut it down. And if high school football can't do it safely, then shut it down. It's just the way it should be done.
Anything additional for Coach?